Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency Rafael Grossi confirmed that before the visit of the organization's mission to the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, the Russian occupiers withdrew at least part of their forces. According to European Pravda, Grossi said this at a press conference at the IAEA headquarters in Vienna on Friday. The military who were there did not contact us in any way. They were not available. There were several cases when I asked to speak to one of them and they were not available. In particular, on the issue of the crisis center, because I wanted to ask if that room could be returned to its normal functioning, but it was obvious that that group of military men had been withdrawn from the station, he said. Grossi added that, according to Ukrainian colleagues in the IAEA mission, they realized that they were essentially working together with Russian technical colleagues. It's not an easy situation, it's a tense situation, it's not an ideal situation. It's a situation that everyone is coping with, he added. At the same time, the Director General of the IAEA objected that the activities of the mission at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant were influenced by Russian representatives. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in a report on Friday noted that in connection with the arrival of the IAEA Commission, the Russian invaders removed all military equipment from the territory of the Zaporozhye NPP. About 100 units were moved to the Atom Energomash plant, the rest were dispersed in the nearest settlements. Recall that the situation at the ZNPP has been in the spotlight since early August, when the Russian military began shelling the plant. Russia has rejected calls for the demilitarization of the nuclear plant under the pretext that it must protect it from provocations, and accuses it of shelling. On the morning of September 1, an IAEA mission left Zaporozhye for a nuclear power plant in Energodar, temporarily occupied by Russia, despite reports of intense shelling of the city. After that, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency Rafael Grossi said that the IAEA team would maintain a presence at the Zaporozhye NPP. Earlier, Grossi confirmed that after the completion of the IAEA mission, 2 representatives of the organization would remain at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. U.S. President Joe Biden will soon ask Congress to allocate another $11.7 billion for military and budgetary assistance to Ukraine. Biden is reportedly intending to request $11.7 billion in emergency funding. The funds will be used to provide military and financial assistance to support Ukraine. In addition, the emergency funding request will include $2 billion to address the consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has affected U.S. energy supplies. Another $22.4 billion should be allocated to the fight against COVID-19 in anticipation of a potential surge in cases. According to the director of the White House Office of Management and Budget, Shalanda Young, the request for $11.7 billion specifically relates to additional assistance, which is planned for the next fiscal year, begins October 1, 2022. Funds are urgently needed, as the remaining $40 billion package adopted in May will last only until the end of September. President Biden has made it clear that the United States is committed to continuing to stand by the people of Ukraine in defending their sovereignty. To fulfill this commitment and address immediate needs, we are requesting $11.7 billion in security and economic assistance in the first quarter of FY 2023, Young said. According to her, to date, about 3/4 of the direct military and budgetary support that Congress previously provided to Ukraine has already been allocated. Recall that in late August, White House National Security official John Kirby announced a new military package for Ukraine. However, he did not disclose its content. It also became known that Ukraine will receive 2 NASAMS systems from the United States in 2024. Latvian President Egils Levits and Latvian Defense Minister Artis Pabriks called on NATO allies to provide Ukraine with modern combat tanks and aircraft, and warned against weakening resolve in countering Russia. According to European Truth, Levits and Pabriks said this in an interview with The Times. The West, the United States, the European Union, all Western democracies should not only support, but increase their military assistance to Ukraine. You can see that this military assistance is really effective. Politically speaking, I believe that the West should transfer to Ukraine all the weapons that she needs it, the Latvian president said. According to the Minister of Defense of Latvia, the West, with its indecision because of the fear of provoking a nuclear war, even encouraged Vladimir Putin, and he should help Kyiv with everything except his own military, so that he liberates the entire territory occupied by Russia. The Russian information war and propaganda has had a significant impact. Many in the West really believe that any support for Ukraine could lead to further escalation and upset Putin, the Kremlin, Russia. It was a big mistake, because the only thing that provokes Russia is weakness, Pabriks stressed. I don't see any reason why Ukraine shouldn't get Western armored vehicles. Why not? Just because Russia might get upset? He added. The head of the Latvian Ministry of Defense also compared Russia's war against Ukraine with World War II, in which Moscow acts like the Nazis. If we want to end the war, if we want to provide grain to the Third World, if we just want to live our normal lives, the only way forward is for Ukraine to win. No alternatives, no compromises, no peace talks, where we give something to Moscow, as we did Chamberlain. It won't be a solution. It will simply be preparation for the next war on NATO soil, Pabrick said. Ukraine has been asking the West for a long time for better weapons systems to successfully launch a counter-offensive to regain control over southern Ukraine. In particular, Kyiv has been trying to get Western-style battle tanks for several months, but has not yet received consent to this from partner states. As reported, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal, before visiting Germany, called on the federal government to supply the Ukrainian military with battle tanks to repel Russian attackers.